It was late on a Thursday night. I was doing my daily cold calling. I had finally came across a seller that said the word that I always wanted to hear. Yes. And for the next 2 days, I was skipping everywhere I went. I was so excited evaluating this lead because it was such a good potential deal. Until it wasn't. So in this week's video, I'm basically going to be showing you guys what the reality of wholesaling land really is and how much it differs from residentially, because I've definitely learned in the past couple weeks that these people were not lying when they were telling me a couple months ago that land is a different world. It is completely different, and I'm now realizing that it is hard, and they were not lying. So I'm basically going to be pushing that experience down to you guys and telling you guys what I've been going through and how to avoid certain things. So the first thing I want to start off on is a lot of deals, like especially when you first get into it. This is exactly what I just went through with I was cold calling. I actually talked about it in my last video. I've been underwriting a deal for probably about 3-4 days, maybe 2 days. But basically I'm looking at it, the numbers, what he was asking, the size of the lot. I was taking everything that I knew into account. I was looking for, seeing if it had utilities, access, infrastructure, nearby schools, fire stations, hospitals, things like that. There's a lot more. Like I said, I'm not going to go over every single thing, but I was pretty much just underwriting it, and everything seemed to be working out, and I thought that this could be my first deal. So I'm sitting there, I'm going over everything, and I'm like, okay, everything is right. Like this, it makes sense. I calculated it, did numbers. It wasn't gonna make sense at 180. We had to kind of get them down a little bit. It was off market, which I was going to do until so what happened is it's kind of a long story, but in order to comp, since in Houston it's kind of harder to comp since it's a non-disclosure state, so you can't really see a lot of like sale prices, so it makes it pretty difficult. And basically what I was doing was I was sending like all the information of the lot to my builders and basically trying to get like a ballpark to see what they would pay for it. And one of my builders responded back to me asking like a bunch of different questions, and this guy was speaking a different language to me, and it's kind of besides the point. We're going to get more into that later, but basically what happened was this guy was speaking a different language, so I run around with my head chopped off trying to figure out how to learn this shit as soon as possible so I can get back to him, give him all the information. And I got on the phone with this one guy, and he kind of opened my eyes. He's like, yeah, man, you're kind of making this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. He pointed out some things that I just wasn't thinking about, and I just didn't know about because it was the first. I never got that far with the land lead before, in like comping. I never did that before. And he pointed out the shape of the lot. It was kind of like triangular. He's like, yeah, dude, like builders, it makes this less attractive to builders. They want simple shaped lots like rectangles, squares, things like that. Triangular lot, it's kind of an odd shape. So I took that into account. And another thing was it was zoned commercially. I know that Houston doesn't have any zoning laws, so it's a lot different up there. They don't have any zoning laws, so as long as there's no deed restrictions on the deed saying that you can't build residentially on a commercial. I mean, there's other things that go into it as well. You just have to push for a permit to get the coding changed, but that's just another thing that makes it more of a hassle for the builders. It makes it less attractive, and it's not even guaranteed that they can get the permits. So it's just, makes it less attractive, like I said, to a builder. And another thing was it was in a flood zone. See, this is one thing that I didn't know because I don't live in Texas. I don't live in Houston. So this is something that I haven't experienced and I didn't know about because I live in Maryland. I just like the Houston market for land. And this guy that I was on the phone with, he wholesales land in Houston, and he lives in Houston. So he's a resident of Houston. And he was telling me, because another thing that I was checking on the lot was to see if it was in a flood zone or not, because that is important. You need to make sure that the lot is not in a flood zone, because that could be a killer factor that could kill a deal all day. And I checked it, and it was in a 1% 100-year floodplain zone, right? So what that means is it is a 1% chance of flooding over 100 years. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. It either means that or it has a 1% chance each year out of those 100 years, which would, I don't know, but it means that it has a very, 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 very small chance of flooding, 1%. So I looked at that and I was like, okay, we're good. 1% chance this is in the flood zone. We're good. Not in the flood zone, right? Check, done. But what I didn't know was flooding is very, 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 very bad. It is a big issue in Houston. And a 1% floodplain, a 1% 100-year floodplain is a much, much bigger deal in Houston than it is where I live or in majority of other markets, because they don't flood like that. And people look at a 1% floodplain as a literal flood zone, because that's how bad flooding is down there. And if it's considered a flood zone. So yeah, pretty much the property was in a flood zone. There was a creek right behind it. And those three factors right there just kind of made me drop the deal and move on from it. But that's just why so many deals look so good right off the bat with land. And then you look into it a little more and then it just sucks. And like, that could definitely happen residentially too, but there's just so much more you have to take into account when it comes to looking at lots and parcels and land. It's just, there's just so much more. Like, dude, you literally have to think about how much water is going to run off the property instead of soaking into the ground, because it can overrun the sewers. And it is not enough. Like, there's just so much things that you have to think about. It's crazy. Like, residentially, you can look at a deal, look at the numbers, and already right off the bat, like, whoa, this is a good deal, right? Look at land, you can't get that far that quickly. You have to evaluate and just look at so much more things that just go into it that will really make it a good deal. It's crazy. So you really have to be on your toes. You really have to know what you're looking for, and you really just have to know what you are doing. I would recommend to all the beginners, just like me, I'm a beginner, infill lots. Don't go to acres yet. It's a whole different game. I don't even know. I'm not prepared for acres yet. There's so much more you have to do when it comes to that. When you're looking at infill lots, there's a lot of things that are still the builder's responsibility and still the builder's job to do. But when you go to acres, builders kind of expect you to, know about the lot more and know like what you are talking about even more than you should be when you're dealing with infill lots. And it's already a lot with infill lots. Like, dude, I've been back and forth with the county the past week about this lot. Like, it's just been a pain in the ass, because we all know my experience with the counties. It doesn't work, and they don't help me. I've called over probably 100 people the past couple of days trying to get questions answered on this lot, and it just didn't work, but it's a part of the game. What I was just talking about brings me to my next point, which is the emotions that come with doing this. And I honestly feel like land can make you more emotional when a deal either falls through or you just put so much work in for absolutely nothing to happen. Because, like I said, there is a lot more you have to take into account with land. See, residentially, it'd take me, I could underwrite a residential property in a day. It's not that difficult. Or, I mean, it is, but it's not that difficult compared to land. Land, on the other hand, like, most of the time, I'm not saying this isn't the case for residentially. It's definitely not most of the time. But with land, you got phone calls to make. There's people you need to get answers from and talk to, especially most of the time, either city or the county, to get answers on the lot you are looking at. Because, yeah, I mean, once you kind of learn how to navigate, which I'm not even to this point yet, and I can't wait till I am, because it'd make things a lot easier. But once you learn to kind of navigate all the public records, because it is all out there somewhere, it is just hard to find, and it is hard to learn how to navigate everything and all the county records. It is confusing. Basically, when you go through days of just back and forth with like even me, like, this is a perfect example. Like I said, I probably called over 100 people over the past couple of days. I've been stressing the hell out over this lot, especially after that builder texted me that big paragraph, everything. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, dude, it's just always something. Like, I was so stressed out. I was going back and forth with people on the phone, the counties, which makes me even more stressed out because who wants to go back and forth with the government on the phone? Nobody. It's a pain in the ass. And I just did all of that, looked into all this different types of information and just so much different things that I had to look into over the span of 2, 3, 4 days, and just for nothing to happen because it just turned out not to be a good deal, which has happened to me in the past. And it's always emotional. It's always like, damn, I just did all that for nothing. But at the end of the day, you just got to realize that it's a part of the game, and you have to be, like I've said many times before, you have to be prepared for things like this to happen. But the thing with land is that you have to go through so much work and so much, at least for me, at least the way I've been doing it, you have to do so much underwriting and phone calls before you even get to the point of comping the property, because there's so much information that you need to find out. And most of the time, the seller does not know. So yeah, basically where I was going with comping is, at first I was going to comp on prop streams like I usually do residentially. It's pretty simple. But then I realized that Texas is a non-disclosure state, so I couldn't find anything whatsoever. I couldn't find one good comp to go off of, so it wasn't going to work. So the next thing I was going to do was try and look for new construction on maybe Zillow, and it's just the same thing. It's a non-disclosure state. It is very difficult to comp in a non-disclosure state. So what I ended up, my ultimatum was I was going to take all the information that I had without giving out the address, send it to my builders in a little paragraph with all the information. Hey, what would you guys what would be in your ballpark for something like this? What would you guys, I'm just trying to see what builders would pay for something like this. What would you guys pay for something like this, right? And that's what I did. And that's when I got that text message from my builder asking all these different questions that I had no idea what he was talking about. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, most of the things like there's pretty much 4 main things that he told me to do, right? Not to do, but 4 main things that I needed to get information for and I needed to provide for him. And only 2 out of those 4 things I believe is really my job as a wholesaler to do. The other 2 things that he said is I feel like something he should know. I feel like that's his job as the builder. It's his responsibility to know and figure out that information. Hey, what's going on, Chris? I just came across this beautiful lot near Jersey Village in Houston. It's about 0.35, a little over a quarter of an acre, around 15,000 square foot. It's an infill lot, vacant land. It has all utilities, nearby schools, fire stations, anything you can ask for. It's not in a flood zone. It is the perfect lot. And basically all the other information I had, I'm not going to go over everything. What is the dimensions? Well, you told me the frontage, but what is the drainage? Is there a drainage easement? How many feet? What's the right-of-way line? Where's the right-of-way? I need to know about that. You need to factor that in, especially if it's a corner lot. What are the detention requirements? I need to know the detention requirements. So yeah, basically, I had no idea what the hell this guy was talking about. He was also asking me for a pro forma, and if there was a pro forma. And so at first, I had no idea what the word even meant. And I asked some people, I researched it a little bit, and I came to the conclusion, like, there's no way that it's my job as a wholesaler to put together a pro forma on a lot of land. And I was right. I figured out that it isn't. The pro forma and the right-of-way line, I feel like, are the 2 things that should be the builder's job to figure out. The detention requirements is pretty simple. I'm pretty sure it's the same for every property. It's just kind of standardized rules throughout the city. And then dimensions as well is pretty clearly my job to figure out. And the only thing I provided him with was the frontage, and he didn't know the other. So I kind of, I know now though, so which is the good thing. And I actually, I know this isn't a journey video, but I actually just got off the phone. I haven't cold called today. I usually cold call at night. It's actually noon right now. It's like 12:30. I haven't went into work yet. I usually cold call like right after I get off work. And I actually, like, as soon as I woke up this morning, I had a lead that I think I called last night, like, called me back. And I called him back, like, as soon as I woke up because I wasn't able to get to the call. And he told me that some more motivation showed up. So, yeah, it's pretty funny because, I mean, I'm hoping it's not the same lot. I don't think it is because he told me he's going to send me like a file, but he's literally asking 180K, the same that the last guy was asking. So let's hope I don't keep getting these nightmare 180K lots. So yeah, I mean, I'll keep you guys updated on that. He hasn't even sent it yet, I don't think. So maybe he probably might just ghost me. Who knows? Typical thing the sellers do. But yeah, we'll see. If you guys liked everything I just said, I need you to stay tuned because I'm going to tell you guys right now, I am the only one on these platforms that's going to be 100,000% real with you guys. I am the least guru-ish YouTuber you will ever come across when it comes to wholesaling real estate. I don't care what anybody says. I need you guys to stay tuned. Even though I haven't closed any deals and I can't really be the fullest to my potential yet when it comes to educating you guys. I've been in the game for a little bit now, so I can to a point, but I haven't closed a deal yet, so I am not very credible, if that makes sense. But once we get some things closed, I am going to teach the ones that were left behind, and I'm going to make sure that you guys get where you need to be and get exactly where I'm going to get to. But for right now, we are in the same boat, like I said. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you guys, I need you to stay tuned with me because I am real and I'm going to be raw with you guys. I'm tired of all this guru. This is why I came on YouTube, to save you guys from the gurus. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing the courses and all that bullshit. I'm tired of it. So I came in. I'm going to be as real and raw as possible until I sell my soul to the devil. But anyways, the least raw and real I'm going to get with you guys is right now when I promote things, because, you know, got to do what I got to do. If I'm YouTubing, I'm going to promote certain things. But the Discord, it's so beneficial. It doesn't make me any money. It doesn't do anything for me rather than build me a great community of real estate investors and good people and good circles to be around. Make sure to join the Discord. It's free. It brings opportunities like JVs. You can connect with so many different people. It's so beneficial. Just join it. Why not? Even if you're active on Discord, join it. Especially if you're active on Discord, join it. Trying to get it more active in there. I think we have around I think we're coming up on 250 members, which is great. Make sure to join that. It's going to be in the description below. Everything else will be in the link tree. Best skip tracing, best SMS blasting, CRM, everything you can ask for is in that link tree, along with all my socials and everything else. Any support is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. I can't express myself enough, how much I genuinely do appreciate the support. I never thought I'd even be getting this kind of support, even though it's not a lot at all. I kind of just thought my videos were going to suck and get, no views at all. But I'm insanely appreciative. And yes, make sure to join the Discord. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your days. I will see you next time.